we're going to kind of kick it off with the KAIBAB. So Unit 12. And Unit 12 is broken up into 3 different subunits, 12A and 12B. And then 12A is again broken up into 12A East and 12A West. So that is the KAIBAB. Guys, if you see anything about the KAIBAB deer herd or anything like that, it is referring to Unit 12. It's an antlered mule deer only hunt unit and a few different options. It's gotten really famous just because of the genetics that are in on that KAIBAB plateau, because there is a little bit of genetic isolation that happens because they're so far north along the Utah and Nevada and all that kind of Grand Canyon, all the stuff that kind of borders them and keeps them kind of isolated. And they're also isolated geographically because there's just not a lot of stuff, not a lot of cities, towns, anything in there. The KAIBAB is literally 100% public land. So that's also the reason there's just not much up there. And so there's not a lot of action, not a lot of activity. So you guys that are trying to draw a trophy mule deer, this is what we're talking about. This is the Arizona deer. This is one of the Arizona deer areas that people think of when they go, man, Arizona has giant mule deer. It is Unit 12. It is the KAIBAB. Okay, this is not the strip. So there's a difference between the KAIBAB and the strip. Some people like to use those interchangeably. They're different. They're not crazy different as far as geographics concerned, but the amount of land, the amount of tags, the amount of trophy potential increases greatly as you go west to the Arizona Strip. So KAIBAB, Unit 12, what does it have to offer? What are we looking at? Where's a good place to start? And some of those bonus point options for residents and non-residents. Okay, so first things first, you do have to draw a tag for the archery hunt in Unit 12 and the KAIBAB. It's a pretty reasonable tag to draw, honestly. Doesn't take a ton of points if you're a resident or a non-resident. So you can draw that tag. It's an August and September tag. It's an early season tag. So you're not hunting those in the rut. They give out a few tags, but it's a great opportunity for you not to expect to wait 20 years before you draw a trophy mule deer tag. So if bow hunting is your thing, if archery is your thing, look in that direction, and you don't have a ton of points, or maybe you're not planning on building a ton of points, and you want to make your tag worth it. So it's one of those hunts where if you draw it, great. The trophy potential is well above 200 inches this year, and the good growth years that we've had, I'm going to keep mentioning that on every video that I make, is that Arizona, especially up there, the rainfall and the precipitation has been amazing. We're hoping that it continues here throughout the summer to kind of finish these deer and elk off. But as of right now, guys, you're just going to have some really, really big deer up there. So with the archery hunt, that's August, September. Good chances of getting drawn, relatively speaking, for giant deer. Then we'll go right into, there's a couple muzzleloader options that are actually pretty cool in Unit 12. So the muzzleloader options, they don't take a ton of points either. I mean, 10, 11 points, and up, starting at kind of the resident line there, but they don't take a ton of points. So it's a good option too, to kind of get your feet wet. And then what you will see in the rifle hunt. So I want to kind of be the interpreter here when you guys are going through the regulations, and kind of give some background knowledge of this stuff. So the rut typically in most of southern, central and southern Arizona happens at the end of the year. So late December or January, depending on where you're at. It's kind of a regional thing. But these areas are so far north and kind of more fit the Utah, Colorado, Nevada, even Wyoming. We don't touch Wyoming, but it kind of fits the mule deer rut that happens up there. So when you see these hunts for Unit 12, the KAIBAB, that are late November into early December, those are pre-rut and rut hunts for mule deer. So that's part of the reason why there isn't very many tags, because you'll see on the first hunt, in these hunts that are like late October into early November, you'll see hundreds of tags going out. And then you'll have the trophy tag, which is like 50 tags available. And that happens later on in November and into early December. And those are as rut as you can get in Arizona. They may not be in full rut, and any rut, guys, at any time of year is a crapshoot. So this year they may be full blown rutting, on December 1st, and then, or they could just be in kind of that pre-rut stage. Regardless, it's a fantastic opportunity to both hunt big trophy 200-inch mule deer, and you're not going to have a lot of people. So with 50 tags, you're going to have a ton of pressure on these deer too. So it's a double whammy. Obviously, the draw odds and the point requirement to get through the bonus pass increases greatly on that secondary hunt where it's kind of a rut hunt for the KAIBAB. So expect to, 15 to 25 points really, guys, is what you'd expect as a resident and non-resident for that trophy KAIBAB hunt. Now, the general season KAIBAB hunt, which happens again, November, early November, late October, that you can actually draw with reasonable points. And by reasonable, I'm usually referring to somewhere around 10 points as a resident or non-resident. So obviously the challenges are there. There's more tags available. There's going to be more pressure. It's not going to be in the prime time of the year. The weather's a little warmer. These deer are not going to be in kind of a rut or pre-rut phase. But these deer are there. They are alive. The bucks that are going to be there in the rut typically are going to be there during that first hunt, that general season hunt. So if you're willing to scout, put your time in, maybe call an outfitter or two, see what they've got going. A great opportunity to shoot a giant 180, 200 plus inch deer on that first general hunt. The trophy quality is through the roof, and also public access is unlimited, and it doesn't take forever. With that first hunt, it's not a once in a lifetime hunt like the strip can be. So keep that in mind. If you have that 10 point to 20 point range as residents and non-residents, keep that hunt in mind. If you're after a big giant trophy mule deer. So now these, the units, I want to just touch on demographics real quick, and geographics, I should say. We know the demographics. There's pretty much only mule deer that live in these areas and a couple of humans that gather cattle. So anyway, the geographics, 12A West is a big, it's the bigger subunit of 12A, and it borders 13A, which 13A is part of the strip. And 12B borders 13A as well, and it's all one big unit. 13A East is a little bit smaller. It's kind of a sliver on the eastern border there, and they don't give out quite as many tags for everything just because of the just overall acreage and deer population. So that's what you're looking at. You can see it on the maps. You can see it on some of the points I'm going over. You can see it in the regulations, and you can see it through the draw odds. So guys, if you're looking for Unit 12, you're looking for a KAIBAB hunt, I would really go over how, if you're a bow hunter, going over what are the best bow hunts that Arizona has to offer. And you gotta quantify trophy quality and draw odds and all that kind of stuff. And then you go through muzzleloader. Hey, there's muzzleloader options for the KAIBAB too. Do you hunt with a muzzleloader? Is that something that's an option for you? And maybe you want to call an outfitter. I know myself included, and another handful of outfitters that are really into muzzleloader hunting. We provide muzzleloaders for our clients so that they can draw these tags with half as many points and still be able to shoot a real giant deer. So that's an option too. And then also the rifle hunts. So if you're an Arizona resident that, hey, you want to go hunting every, 8 to 10, 12 years in trophy areas, I think that's a good option. And same as a non-resident. If you have been building up your points and you don't you realize that the statistics are against you when drawing the strip tags, I would strongly look into these KAIBAB tags. Honestly, general season or that late season, you can go first choice late rut season and second choice general season, and you are not throwing your points away and throwing your tag away. So, and as we know with the point guard system, you can always turn your tag back in if this season isn't looking good, and you have an honest outfitter, or you have been doing your scouting and you're just not seeing what is it that you want to see. to burn all your points and actually go on this hunt. So you can always turn it in, get your points back, and you're no worse for wear other than a tag fee. So that is the Unit 12 KAIBAB overview, guys. I wish you guys all the best of luck if you're trying to draw that tag. I hope the deer are giant, and I hope they step out in front of you if you do draw that tag. Hit me up if you have any questions about guides or outfitters, scouting packages, drop camps, anything like that. I got some good intel. I don't personally do a whole lot of guiding up in the KAIBAB and the Strip. I have some friends that are outfitters and guides that do a lot of that area. Specifically, that's all they spend their time on, and realistically, that's the outfitter that you want to go with if you're going to draw a KAIBAB tag and a strip tag, is guys that really spend most of their time focusing in those units. They are really, really big, and the deer and the draw odds the deer are giant and the draw odds are very, very slim. So you want guys that are in there dedicated. And so I can give you some insights on who is, in my opinion, some of the better guys that are in there all the time, just from my understanding on a professional level. And I'm not a KAIBAB guru. I'm not a Arizona Strip guru. So all I offer really is just information. And the guys that I do know that rock and roll and love it and live for it. And they kill some giant deer out of there. So I hope that all helps, guys. Wish you the best of luck of the draw. June 6th is the deadline. Hit me up with any questions, comments. If you've got anything to add, throw it in the comments below. I will not harass you. All right, guys, take it easy. Talk soon.